Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the Apostate Prophet. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's having a fantastic
Oh, Steph,
day.
listen to it. Sorry, I was listening to it on this. Yeah, there's a delay. Hello? You hear me?
You ruined it, man. I was gonna say hello, everybody, and welcome. You just ruined it.
When did I enter the discussion?
Just when I said hello, everybody, and welcome, you ruined it, man. Now I have to start over.
Yeah.
I have to play the intro music again.
Hey, I'm gonna have my headphones on for a second. I gotta send this to L.
Okay.
All right.
I gotta take the L.
Gotta take the L.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the Apostate Prophet. Hope everybody's having a fantastic day. And yeah. Does this sound good? Does this sound okay? Does this sound all right? Because I tried to fix some of the sound stuff, and I wonder if it sounds better now.
Yeah, one of the mics was sounding distorted yesterday. At least one. I was checking the end because someone commented, but
does the sound perfect now?
If it doesn't, there's nothing, absolutely nothing. I don't even know why you're asking, because there would be nothing we could do about it right now.
I'm curious, that's why.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're wondering if your troubleshooting fixed it?
Yes.
Okay.
Does it sound better than yesterday?
Yes. How do we sound? Does it sound like I'm in a tunnel or in a bucket or something?
Good. It's perfection. They say it's very good. Some people say it's better. Some people say it's excellent.
What if I beatbox like this?
I think it sounds better because I actually plugged it from a stupid sound cable into a USB cable and did it like that. So.
Here's what's stupid. I'm sitting here asking how it sounds, and I've literally got headphones on, and I just silenced the live stream so I could talk to you when I could just like literally listen to ourselves.
Literally.
Okay.
Literally.
I'll tell you how we sound. Don't listen to these suckers over here.
I don't trust them. Who are these people even?
Trust them.
So, yeah, hello everybody, and what's up? Hello everybody. So, we are here at Jubilee together to talk about a variety of different things. In fact, if this sounds awesome, if this sounds good, I might even do this like from now on in the future. So, we want to talk a little bit about Jordan Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan has been having big issues, have been crashing down and having a meltdown and attacking people and all that. How does it sound? How's it sound?
What?
How does it sound?
Doesn't sound as good as like a Shure mic or something like that, but it's acceptable for a live stream. But in the future, you will want two Shure mics right here in front of each of us, right?
Perfect. Yeah. So yeah,
we want to invite me back here with two Shure mics in our faces.
We want to talk about Jordan Peterson and not Jordan Peterson. Who's Jordan Peterson? We want to talk about Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan has been having big issues lately. I'm figuring out now that I'm so close to the camera, it's kind of making me unsharp. It's all focusing on the wood. Hey, focus on me, man. Focus and look at me. Yeah. Hope everybody's doing a fantastic day. So I basically posted earlier on Twitter, also known as X, and also on the YouTube community tab, that my baptism is not happening. The plan was that I was supposed to get baptized either today or tomorrow in the morning, and something happened. Something got in between that, and I was informed and told now that the baptism is not going to happen now, but rather that it's supposed to happen once I have been going to the church and learning and being a catechumen for 1 year, 1 full year. So that's why it has been delayed. And apparently, it was a rule that the bishop of the region established, or the greater archdiocese, whatever. And our priest, my spiritual father, he wanted to make it. He wanted to kind of do the fast track treatment with me and my wife and our family. I guess his thought was that he thought, you guys, I see you as very sincere and you already know stuff. You are not like getting into all of this very, very newly. I also spent lots of time learning tons of stuff, burying my head into that and learning tons of stuff over the last months. So he wanted to kind of fast track that, but then I guess my priest kind of talked to the bishop and tried to somehow make it an exception that I could be baptized without waiting for a full year. But the thing is, in my head, this was kind of a little bit of a concern because I see people getting baptized in the Orthodox Church, and it usually seems to take like a year, more than a year. I just Andrew Wilson's wife, Rachel Wilson, she just left a comment on my post. She said it took us 3 years. 3 years. So I was a little bit. I found it a little bit strange that we would be like I would be done in 3 months already and be baptized. So anyway, long story short, my priest apparently tried to do all that stuff, but then the bishop said we have a rule that we have established: 1 year. Can't make an exception in this case. So here we are.
That's the official story, but I mean, we don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but I would suspect it goes something like this. AP has announced that he will conquer Constantinople as soon as he is baptized. We need him to be baptized now so we can take Constantinople. And then it goes up to the bishop, and he's not ready yet. He's not ready. He needs at least a year of training before he can conquer Constantinople, so we must make him wait. And so I think it was something more like that.
I think so too.
Now quit interrupting my editing.
That actually was the story. So I'm just telling a different story just to cover up the real story. What takes longer, converting to Eastern Orthodoxy or to Judaism? To my understanding, Judaism takes longer. Adventists do. The thing is,
we should invent a religion where it takes like 50 years to convert. Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah.
Like it takes your entire life to convert.
I think in Judaism, it's pretty normal that it's like on average 3 years or so, but between like 1 to 10 years. I'm saying 1 to 10 years. I was going to say 1 to 5 years, but Seth says 1 to 10. Really, 10 years? That's a long time. But then, so Judaism doesn't have the urgency of trying to convert everybody. It's like if you come into it, you are usually just turned away. You know, you're usually turned away, and you are told, "Are you sure? Think about this and come back." So in Christianity, it's a little bit different. In Christianity, it's more like people need to convert. People need to become part of the body of the church and all that. So it is, yeah, the whole. As to my understanding, from what I have from the history of the church and of baptisms that I have studied, in the Christian church, in the Universal Catholic Church, it used to be much longer. Initially, it used to be like the recommendation was like 3 years. People should be catechumens for 3 years, and then they should be baptized or something like that. And this is, I think, a tradition that kind of started in the 2nd or 3rd century or so, to kind of make sure that people actually go into it knowing what they are doing, representing it properly, avoiding persecution, avoiding infiltrations and things like that, learning the religion properly and all that. I think over time, in modern times, it has usually become much shorter than it was traditionally. So, yeah. But anyway, with me, it's just, I mean, I am disappointed. I'm kind of upset about it, very honestly. No need to hide that. But I guess I would be less upset about it if I was told in the beginning that it would take a year, and then I would just wait out the year and be done with it. But to have it, planned for a certain time, to get ready for it, to arrange things, and then to be told actually it's going to be at the end of the year or so, it's a little bit upsetting. But right now, the best thing I can do is just to say, if this is what is being decided, then I have to accept that and be fine with it.
And I mentioned to you earlier that it's a weird situation where everyone's right? Like your priest was right for saying, look, this guy's really studying hard and stuff like that. We should fast track him. He's reading more in a couple months than most people read in a few years. So we can fast track this guy. He was already wrestling with this stuff for a while. So we can kind of make that makes sense. And then he's thinking, okay, we can put him on the fast track. But then the bishop's like, no, you can't just. Then everyone's gonna think they can jump on the fast track, and we have a rule, and we can't start breaking the rules. So everyone's kind of right, and sometimes just happens like this.
Sometimes
it happens like this, but only in Orthodox Church where they make you wait forever to get baptized.
To be honest, I've seen responses like these. Crazy Bear, AP, my father's ordained Baptist preacher. Come to Texas and we got you. Here's the thing.
I'll go in the backyard, baptize
thing.
him right now.
Here's the thing. This is kind of like if I told you, like if you said, "Oh, I'm really into icons and all that, but I can't do icons because I'm a Baptist," and I said, "No problem. Just come to the Orthodox Church and you can do the icon stuff, and still do whatever you believe." You know, it is a weird response. It is a strange. I understand where you're coming from and all that, but we have different traditions for a reason. So yeah. AP understands Christianity better than most Christians. Nah, I wouldn't say that. AP is looking a little Amish with the beard.
Oh,
maybe this is a sign. Maybe I should become Amish.
Hey, by the way, I was just thinking in terms of you being a cat human for a while, but you're like reading a lot, and so you're like you've already read a ton of stuff that would take most people like a year and stuff. But I wasn't even thinking about when someone just said you understand Christianity better than most Christians. I suspect that may be true because it's interesting. You were studying Christianity a lot, like in responding to Dawa guys over the years, and people would all be surprised, like, "Gosh, how does he know this stuff so well?"
Yeah, and so baptism is a very serious sacrament in the Orthodox Church. It's not just something that you just do. It's considered a very, very serious one. So just gotta wait for that. And some people think, well, but if that's what brings salvation, then if you die before you get baptized, does that mean you go to heck?
He said heck. Does that mean you're going to HE double hockey sticks?
That's not really what happened. So that's not really the understanding of it. It's just to officially become a part of the body of the church. You gotta wait for that. So anyway. Anyway, dear people, Lord Jesus said, "Verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God." John 3:3. What does that mean to you? And why do you think this is now? Why do you think this is now important? I mean, if you're just adding that to add to the conversation, I appreciate that. But sometimes people bring this as an objection, and I just wonder what exactly does that mean to you. Jean Rossis, mental hacker. AP, please check Eastern Catholicism. Unicity in rule, not every parish, its own rules, and same liturgy,
Yes, AP, check out everything that everyone recommends.
But here's the thing: if I wanted to go to Catholicism, I would just go to a Catholic church. I'm not really necessarily. It's not just the Eastern tradition that is mesmerizing me, and I think I gotta go to this because I like the Eastern stuff. If I wanted to be a Catholic, I would just be a Catholic. So, yeah. Crazy Bear. Advice on worrying: I fear God more than I love God. Are good works a type of love? I just worry about it. Also, do you know Resurrection Band? David, what do you think about this? Advice on worrying: I fear God more than I love God. Thank you.
I was reading the rest of the comment. Are good works a type of love? I just worry about it. Also, do you know Resurrection Band? Yeah, I would say, yeah, you should be focusing more on loving God.
Why are you
but
calling him more?
We do have an entire culture that has kind of lost the fear of God, and so a good healthy dose of the fear of God is a good thing. So I wouldn't worry too much about that.
A healthy dose. Uno dos. Salt Acts 22:16. That is arise and be baptized. Yeah, powerful. Cat human, you shouldn't even be talking right now. You're just one of my kind. Meow. Cat human.
Imagine being a cat human for an entire year.
Thracian Alpha DNA. Please, AB, tell us exactly why you didn't choose Rabbinic Judaism. I'm on a similar journey.
Because he's not a rabbi. Duh.
Yeah. See? Logic and reason. No, generally, when people ask me nowadays, why didn't you choose this one? Why didn't you choose that one? Why did you go to this one? It's kind of difficult to explain why exactly I chose what I chose. but I generally wanted to wait with that kind of stuff until I'm further into this. The funny thing is, I felt much more comfortable talking about religion and religious differences and all that until I decided to become religious myself. Now I feel like I just want to approach every single conversation that revolves around this kind of stuff with a little bit more caution. But yeah, I talked about this earlier with my wife. This is a funny thing to come up. We talked about this today. Yeah, my wife asked me today, when was it really that you started believing in God? When was it that you started believing in Orthodox Christianity and all that? So I was thinking back, and last year there was a time when I was wrapping tefillin and trying to practice Jewish stuff and see if I can do it. And I was reading the Jewish prayer book in the mornings and the Psalms in Jewish style, and practicing all that.
And then I call you and I'd be like, "Hey, how's your day going?" And you go, "Oh, this day is going so terribly." And it was weird.
Yeah. But I think it was kind of like I felt very drawn to it for a little bit. And there's also this idea that it might be something in you spiritually that is drawing you to it. But Judaism is also like it doesn't require anybody to convert. So when somebody converts or generally has the urge to convert, it is generally seen in Judaism as kind of this thing, there's having a Jewish spirit. But as I was trying and as I was praying, I felt good about it and I liked it, but I never felt like I was actually speaking to God properly. I felt like I was just pretending this entire time. It was only until there were certain things that I have great difficulties with, which I might go into at some point. But it was only until I started doing Christian prayers and trying the rosary, for example, that I started feeling that I'm actually receiving and not just trying, which drew me very, very much closer to Christianity. I know that wasn't really helpful, but more to that maybe some other time. Sigismund, I'll be checking the world map in 9 months then. Yeah, in 9 months I will be taking over Constantinople, so yeah. That's just what we'll do.
This does give more time for us to invest in a map making company.
Yeah,
everyone's going to need new maps.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. The entire world has to buy new maps. If we're in on that racket, cha-ching. They're also pay for the entire campaign.
There are also these event betting sites you could bet on. Will Constantinople be taken by this year? We could start, betting on that, and then I'll go take Constantinople. Boom. E&M Creations. If you just took Constantinople now, they would have no choice but to baptize you. This is a good point, but I still need more support. Chad Parsons, a baptism isn't just being washed in the blood of Christ, usually in water. You don't need a church to hold communion. Organized religion is just a business of afterlife insurance. Okay, that's very good for you. Sigismund S. Glad about the reconciliation between Jay and Andy too.
Won't last, because we will divide and conquer.
That's what we do. The problem with Eastern Orthodoxy is that the bishop next door will disagree and baptize you tomorrow. They can't agree on baptism rules and more. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I mean, within the same tradition, they pretty much agree. So
you don't know that? Did you talk to every Eastern Orthodox bishop and ask what he thinks?
No. I mean, if you mean that I would leave one Eastern Orthodox tradition and go to another one which doesn't recognize them and has political disagreements that recently emerged, then yes, maybe you would have a point, but that's a completely different story there. Salt Acts 8:36-37, and the eunuch said, "See, here is water. What hinders me from being baptized?"
He said, "You have to spend a year as a catechumen first."
See. Powerful. Jeremy Clarkson gave PM a the Bieber years ago. He did? Interesting. Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about the history of Piers Morgan. Anyway, wouldn't make sense, says Edgar Bon. Wouldn't it make sense for Christians to adopt the Jewish approach to conversion, testing faith deeply, so no Andrew Tate or sneakers show up? Well, I will just present from my perspective. a pro and a contra to this. The pro is, yes, you would vet people and have them convert more carefully and all that. The contra to that is that, unlike Judaism, Christianity has kind of an urgency to conversion and the mission to actually, missionary activities, to preach the gospel, to invite to salvation and all that. So what do you say, David?
Yeah, we already talked about this earlier. I said I could see it from both ways, and I pointed out the exact same thing. In the book of Acts, when someone believes, it's okay. You're ready to be baptized. It wasn't this year-long process, but Jesus did put it. Most Christians that I'm around draw a distinction between like conversion and then discipleship. Right? You convert, become a Christian, you can be baptized right then, and then you become a disciple over time. It seems like in the Orthodox Church, they're kind of combining it and saying that, like, okay, you have this period where, like, you're kind of being discipled before you're converting or something like that. Anyway, I said I can kind of see that because of the warning Jesus gave when he's talking about making sure that you're ready to follow through with something. Like if you're going to build something, you need to make sure you can actually fund the entire thing. They said if you're you're a ruler and you're going out to fight against another army, you need to make sure that your soldiers can actually go out. And he's talking about being careful of what you're getting into, make sure you know what you're getting into and so on. So I can kind of see it either way. Looks like they're kind of combining those ideas. But I have to say, specifically on the issue of baptism, did not look anything like it's a year-long process in the book of Acts. So there is that.
There's also another factor to this. I think it was very much around the time that the Christian church started becoming extremely popular, and people started converting in masses, and pagans in the Roman Empire.
Wait, you mean at Catholic masses?
No.
Okay.
And pagans in the Roman Empire were mass converting to Christianity. That the Christian authorities, that the Bishop of Rome and others thought, wait, hold on a second, man, hold on a second. Everybody's now suddenly converting, and we gotta check what people actually are doing, what they're supposed to do here. So they started a process of actually advising people for a while before they accept them into communion. And the thing is also, what's also very important there is that communion has a very significant role. It's something that people are supposed to come to with great repentance and knowledge, and not just randomly show up and do communion together. So that's that. There is a reason why these things were established. The Orthodox Church requires you to be an ortho-bro for 1 year before baptism, you see, says Holy Joy. Yeah, it is a requirement to go and fight with people online, too, before you become baptized.
Hey, suppose you're on the fast track in the Eastern Orthodox Church, and then after your beef with Andrew Wilson and Jay Dyer, they called up the bishop, and they're like, he's disagreeing with us. No one is allowed to disagree with us in the Orthodox Church. And then it's like, okay, we'll give him a year to be on board with you guys on everything.
Yeah.
You didn't even think about that.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. That's what they do. Yes, everybody wanted to join the Catholic Church, says Black Angel. Well, you know what? The funny thing about that, Black Angel, is that the Catholic Church, you know what that stands for, right? It stands for the Universal Church. Back then, the Catholic Church, you know what that was, right? It wasn't just the Roman Church; it was the Universal Church, and Rome was not the leader of it. It was just one part of it.
Look how everything has cat in it with all this stuff.
Yeah,
you got cat-holic, and then you got cat-human. Everything. That's weird.
Yeah. But back when everybody was agreeing together, it was cool to be the Catholic Church. And then Rome decided and said, "Oh, we are the boss. Everybody's got to listen to us, and all those who don't listen to us are not real Christians." And the other Christians said, "That's not how it works, bro." So, and then that's when Rome started becoming the claimant of Catholicism. Let's start fighting. Timothy Freeman, it took me 2 voluntarily years to convert to Catholicism. Did a full round of catechism under my local diocesan parish Novus Ordo through the current CCZ, and a second round under the FSSPTLM. I have no idea what any of those things mean. Catholic Church Catechism, FSSP and TLM. What do those things mean? Please let me know. Thank you.
Yeah, I became a Christian in a jail cell with a Bible, and then I found out I have to go through 17,000 different levels to become a true Christian.
You see? 1045, it was 1054. Yeah. 1054 was when, so they had disagreements over a long period of time, the Rome and the Eastern churches. It's kind of funny when you think about it today. It seems like Rome was actually like the major church that the world was under, and the others were just the lesser church. But this is just in the modern context. It all happened like this after the colonizations and conquest and all that. When the split happened, Rome wasn't like the vast majority of traditional churches. It was just one of the 5 seats. And it happened with Rome asserting basically that the Roman bishop is supposed to be the Pope and the ultimate authority over the church, and the others saying this is an invention and we're not supposed to be doing that. And especially with the doctrines written down over there in Rome, we just can't do that kind of stuff. We can't do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I just looked it up. There are about 1.34 billion Catholics, about 600 million Protestants, and approximately 300 million Orthodox.
Yep. And now imagine
Catholics outnumber you by more than 1 billion.
I know.
Billion with a B.
And now imagine if the Islamic conquests never happened and the colonizations of the Americas and the East by the Catholics never happened. They would be pretty much equal in number.
And if everyone protested, then everyone would be Protestants.
You see. Thank you, Arctic Base. AP, are you planning academic studies?
That's actually a good question. You seem like a guy, you don't seem like a guy who would need to go in that route. You could do like content creation your entire life, but you also seem like a guy who could go to seminary or something like that.
Yeah, maybe. I have been thinking about that actually. I'm not gonna lie. David Kazashi, retard. AP, if I die without being baptized, will I go to H-slur? H-slur.
Don't say that voice. Just say Dawa voice.
Yeah. AP, if I die without being baptized, will I go to H-slur? It's like those idiots yesterday. Jean Rossi's mental hacker. The rosary is Catholic, you see. Say no, go wifey. Go back to daddy. Leo 14th. Let's launch the new crusade with David in the front line. Let's do that. Let's put David in the front. Misha, times like these, you take Constantinople again. Times like these, Ezra becomes the son of God again. Oh, by the way, Dawood, it takes 50 years to complete Ezra's scribe school. Only the goat knows, you see.
You would kind of get the most dedicated people if you had this 50-year process.
Powerful.
You wouldn't get any Andrew Tates like that.
Mediterranean Gulf of Constantinople. Let's do it. ECG says, I find waiting to be baptized for so long rather strange, but I also get it in a way, as Jesus said, one needs to consider the cost before building, etc. Yeah, it's not a very outlandish thing. In my example, it's only kind of a little bit strange right now because it has been postponed. Otherwise, it would be totally normal. Grauenritter says Piers Morgan was always a circus zookeeper, but now Qatar has wined and dined him. They kept telling him Muslims nice to reporters. West Israel suppressed news while Salt Bay fed him gold ribeye steak. Interesting. Ash Mays, AP, can I come to Constantinople thing with you even if I choose Catholic over Eastern Orthodox? Because that's what's probably going to happen. But Constantinople, yeah, we can all join together, man. Once I take Constantinople, all Christian denomination, church, traditions, everything will have to be abolished and be forced to unite under my Orthodox church. So, no problem. Jack Ray, so the plans for Constantinople are on hold. Oh well, I've been waiting since 1453 anyway. For now, yes, they're on hold, but it's definitely going to happen. I'm ignorant of the Orthodox Church, so forgive me, says Apostate of Allah. Do they believe you aren't saved until after you're baptized? If so, where do you stand now in regards to salvation? That's not what they believe. What they believe is that there are several sacraments. They don't actually have a strict number to it, but baptism is normatively the process that with which you start the path to salvation. However, if somebody is on a path of truthfully believing in Christianity, truthfully believing in Jesus as Lord and Savior, and all that, but is in the process of getting baptized and then dies, for example, without getting baptized, it is usually not thought that that person is now condemned or anything like that. It is generally seen as, I think it's called baptism of intent or baptism of desire or something like that. But yeah, it is normatively speaking considered to be the beginning of the salvation process, and the Orthodox Church generally views it all as a process. So it's not like a one moment thing. You get baptized and then you're saved forever and all that. But it's rather that it's a continued process, because every human always has to make sure that they are going to salvation. And the Orthodox Church then has this thing that that this is the tradition through which we are saved. That said, we cannot say anything about whether others are saved or not. So it's actually very nuanced, more so than people generally think. Searching deeper, since faith in Jesus alone saves you and baptism was an act of faith to accept Jesus, you could do it immediately, even on day one. Since it justified you via faith, no need for being good enough. It's not about being good enough. That's not what it is about, really. Red Psi YNWA, AP, don't bash the bishop in public, leave it to Mo. Metamorphosis, AP, no rush, God works in mysterious ways, keep learning, loving your journey. If you're worried, get David Wood to dunk you in a pool.
It'd be funny if people went to had pre-baptisms in a Baptist church, if they were worried about waiting and then they wait for the Orthodox church. You know what I mean? You're like, okay, I have to wait for a year, but let me run over to the Baptist church to get baptized real quick, just in cases.
Yeah. It would be very funny if I said, oh, I don't want to wait. I'm just going to go to... I did have that I had that thought today. I thought to myself, wait, I'm supposed to wait? So I just looked up the closest Baptist church quickly. Just kidding. Just kidding. Don't... if my priest is watching, I'm just joking. Arctic-based David Wood, is Christianity a mystery religion? And doesn't Paul actually say so? How do you square Paul's hidden mystery, grand mystery, i.e. new revelation, with trying to tease out Jesus in the Old Testament? David, what is your response to this?
Yeah, some things are a mystery. Some things have been clear and revealed.
In your face.
Yeah. There's no mystery about that.
Hope you get your answer. Is that in Slavonic Nikolai, or is that like Nikolai in it's just supposed to be like that, or is it different? I don't know. AP slowly.
Nikolai starts with an N. Genius. What?
AP slowly turning into a real Serbian guerrilla under the radar. Powerful.
Did you ever see that? You ever see the Batman spoof where Batman's an idiot? That College Humor thing.
No.
He says Superman appears to him. He's got the S on his chest, and he goes, "This stands for hope." And he goes, "Hope starts with an H, idiot."
Timothy Freeman, CCC, Catechism of the Catholic Church. Yeah, that's what I thought. The most recent and updated catechism, FSSP, Fraternitas Sacerdotalis Sancti Petri TLM, traditional Latin. Oh, I could have guessed that. Traditional Latin Mass. Okay. Thank you. Interesting. Good to know. Thank you. Mark H. challenge the bishop to Mubahala.
Now that would be funny. You say, I can't be baptized, I challenge you to Mubahala.
I'm going to send my priest a message right now and say, I challenge the bishop to Mubahala.
That would be funny. And if you win, you're the new bishop.
Yeah. Catholics are genocidal with what they did in the North Crusades and the Americas and all for Christ. Then they ransacked Constantinople. I mean, I wouldn't say that that what they did in the Americas was on the behalf of Christ. It wasn't. It was more of an economic and civilizational struggle. You could say that the Crusades got really, really messed up very quickly, especially over time, especially the fourth one, which was widely condemned. But people make mistakes. Khaybar barbecue said, "I love you too." Thank you. I love you too. Eric Barlow, AP, the historic Protestant view isn't baptism starts salvation. Salvation occurs when you believe, called imputation. Baptism roughly starts the process of sanctification, which is a journey. I gather that. Did I just say something contradicting that? But no, that's what I have in mind.
Yes, you said you're only saved after you're baptized.
I was just saying in reference to the Orthodox Church, it doesn't start. It doesn't occur there, but it just continues. Like it starts from there. So. Victoria Knox, if you die in the name of Christ, baptism through blood. Just wanted to say that since the Israel trip, I knew you'd become Christian, was praying for you ever since. God bless you guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, that is the general view that somebody who is killed because of the name of Christ is considered to be baptized in blood and all that, which is pretty wowie. Thank you, Victoria. Appreciate that very much. Ida Rogozin, hello. Well, hello. Just a little donation for reviving and acknowledging the Ozut history.
Hey, that is funny though. I keep mentioning that there's a story that I've been hearing about for years. David, what do you think about this? And I'm like, it's not in Bukhari and it's not in Sahih Muslim, and so and it's kind of weird. And I don't know what's going on.
I don't want to take blood, man.
It's not clear, huh?
Nothing.
So it's kind of like I'll wait, and I'll just know when the right moment is to popularize it and stuff like that. And then I don't know, just after when Raymond Ibrahim posted a video, and I was like, I don't know, this seems like the right time to really share this with the world. And it's cool because now everyone's talking about it. It's awesome, and we're just kind of getting warmed up with it.
You see?
Yeah, when tomorrow when I try to order a McMuta marriage at McDonald's, I might ask them about like a zoot wrap or something like that. That'd be funny. You have a zoot wrap?
Catechesis, yes, catechesis in the 2nd, 3rd centuries due to heresies as a baptism prerequisite. The Didache, no solas or papal supremacy, only ortho. Yeah, that's my understanding too. The heresies is also an aspect, yeah. I only talked about mass conversions and all that. But heresies could also, of course, be the factor here. Coltrane, the fact that people think they need a mediator to know if God accepts them into heaven is laughable. Jesus is the only middleman, as it were. He's the only way, not a pope, priest, bishop, pastor, monk, etc. But here's the thing, Coltrane. You made a false assumption here. Who said that you need a mediator except Jesus? Nobody said that. Nobody said that. Nobody claims that. Nobody thinks that you actually normatively need another mediator besides Jesus to go to heaven or anything like that. This is not the view, especially in the Orthodox Church. This is not the view at all. Like in the Orthodox Church, for example, the whole the role of the Theotokos, of the Mother of God, of Mother Mary, and of the saints is generally so one of people of taking their example, of following them, of having reverence for them, of what they signifies, because they are considered the living example of the church and of believers. The other aspect is considered intercession, which is David would also agree. I'm just trying to throw David under the bus together with me. But as David would also, for example, explain, which is like asking people to pray for you. So if we believe that the saints are continuously living, then it's understandable that we also ask them to pray for us and all that. And we usually follow certain priests or bishops and all that to follow the tradition of the church properly. That said, nobody actually teaches that you have to have these figures other than Jesus in order to be saved and that Jesus alone is not enough. Nobody actually teaches that. So that's that.
Hey, Coltrane. His name's Coltrane.
Powerful.
Who's the most famous Coltrane ever? Huh?
Muhammad.
Wrong. Roscoe P. Coltrane.
Oh, interesting.
It was a sheriff, Hazard County.
Erkan Öztürk says, AP, I'm embarrassed that you're a Turk. I'm also embarrassed that I'm a Turk.
That was like epic burn. You're a Turk. I'm also embarrassed that I'm a Turk.
What do you want from me, man?
Oh, boy.
Seth Williams, good lessons of patience. It took me from 2011 to 2015. Trust me, it's worth the wait. Just more time to learn to live an Orthodox life. Thank you. I appreciate that. Appreciate that very, very much. What kind of answer do you expect from me when you say something so dumb? Turks. Anyway, let's look at the Piers Morgan thing, David. What do you think about the Piers Morgan thing?
What are we looking at? Are we looking at the thing that everyone flipped out about?
So
when
we
he's talking trash.
When
When
he
he started talking trash to some woman or something.
Yeah, we want to look at a little bit of stuff here. We want to look at a little bit of stuff right here. So I want to look at one clip first, which says Piers Morgan cut Natasha Hausdorff off 60 times,
and yet he'd sit there listening to Suge Knight talk for 45 minutes straight.
So I want to just, before we go into what actually happened, look into how often he cut off a guest that he invited on to get her opinion. And she's, by the way, a lawyer, significantly more educated and significantly more intelligent than he is. Let's see how he handled the situation.
Well, I don't give a damn. There has been facilitated over the course of... Well, I don't give a damn. There has been facilitated over the course of this war. But that is simply not true. I'm sorry. Well, no, hang on. Forgive me. You've asked me on here to answer these questions. And I can challenge you. The study that was conducted... Why are they so hungry then? The study that was conducted... Hang on, why are they so hungry? May I finish this point and I'll come on to answer... Why are they so hungry? Well, let me... There are... Why are they... What you are basing your assessment on, I'm afraid... It's what I'm seeing. Which is Hamas propaganda, which you must accept as... No. Piers Morgan, you're not allowing me to answer a single question. I am. Because it is, as has been the...
I am, liar. I will cut your mic right now to prove it.
Previously, Hamas. It's also the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. The assessments of Hamas casualty figures by experts and statisticians have found them to be preposterously inaccurate, fabricated. Well, let me ask you, hear the explanation. The viewers aren't going to get any benefit of the viewers can make their own mind. And targeting those strikes deliberately. So I'm sorry, this is completely illogical. It's actually not logical. If you'll allow me to answer the question, that have been projected. How do you know the ratios? I'll explain. Between.
God, this is so. Man.
He was massively more respectful to Muhammad Hijab, who's a thug and a total douche.
This is really
she's like nice, calm, well-spoken, educated, and well.
This is the thing with Piers Morgan. We pointed this out, but he usually does this. He picks one side and then he calls another side on. And look at this. It's just he's now on the side of Dave Smith. He also likes to flip-flop very nicely. He was very much against that side. Now he flip-flopped, changed over to the anti-Israel side, and now just invites on Dave Smith basically to just be his sidekick and then to harass an actual lawyer. The thing is also here, he is a joke of a journalist who was fired from his job for basically betraying his own nation and false reporting and then insisting that he's actually right. And Dave Smith is a freaking comedian who doesn't add any value to any conversation at all. He literally gets his information from reading online posts. And here you have Natasha Hausdorff, who is extremely well connected, who is highly educated, who is a lawyer, who represents a nation on a global scale, and so on. And he thinks, oh, we are right, yeah, we're doing this, yeah. And at least invite somebody of equal intelligence or expertise on.
Yeah, get Ali Dawa next time.
Yeah, she's international law expert, isn't she? Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
1-to-1 and 1.5-to-1. I'll explain. Has been able to establish. May I answer the question?
Well, you're not counting.
If you're not going to allow me to.
You talk about logic. Let me get it. I want to bring Dave. I don't know.
You just asked me the question.
I've let you speak for a long time. Dave is.
You haven't, Piers.
Well, I have. I'm going to go to Dave. Dave.
Israel's war aims have been clear from the outset, which is the destruction of Hamas.
They haven't done
and the
that.
return of the hostages.
I'm sitting here thinking, like, she starts speaking, and I'll think 1, 2, 3, boom. She gets to speak in like 3 to 4 second increments.
So Natasha Hausdorff, born October 1980, dang, she's young, is a British barrister, international
89
law expert, and member of pro-Israel lobbying group UK Lawyers for Israel. She's a barrister with 6 bump court chambers out of London. Graduate of Oxford University and Tel Aviv University, practiced with the law firms and so on.
She went to Jew University.
She's also the legal director of the NGO UK LFI Charitable Trust. International law expert, and this is the treatment that she gets. It's funny, man. Nothing has any meaning anymore.
But either of those things. All you're doing is killing more and more civilians.
And you've been. I'm here as a lawyer.
Israeli, right?
No, I'm here to defend the rule of law. To starving children.
Well, actually, the people are
in light of the Hamas takeover.
And when you see, as we saw, and when you see, Natasha,
I was answering the previous question.
Okay, but let me just on the point.
Productive.
On the point of legality, actually, it's very productive.
Of these so-called legal settlements is a mistake. It's not a legal.
This is working. It is working. This is productive. It is productive. Can you stop interrupting?
Wow.
The amount of steps.
David, what's your favorite Dave Smith joke?
I've never heard a Dave Smith joke, so I wouldn't know.
It's pretty messed up, man.
What?
It's very rude. Very rude.
That Israel takes. Unprecedented in the history of...
My favorite Dave Smith joke is Dave Smith, because he is the joke. Burn. You can use that one, Dave Smith. You see.
Conflict and military
actually,
commanders
that's just a load of bullshit.
Which other army?
It just is. Which other war? Where?
I was explaining earlier that the Hamas figures are inflated, that there are internal inconsistencies.
How convenient for you.
That because there have been independent studies.
How do you know how many
Because we know Hamas lies. It is an internationally prescribed terrorist organization.
Some might think you're lying. And that's a blood libel.
I'm actually respecting Dave Smith more than Piers here. Dave Smith's just kind of sitting there almost the entire time. I don't know what he's doing in the full discussion and stuff, but he seemed, based on this, he seems more willing to listen. I don't know if they're only focusing on Piers cutting her off, and Dave Smith also did, but they're not focusing on that. But I mean, right here, Piers looks like the douche.
It gets even worse after this. So this is the entire time cutting off. Wait, what is this? What is this?
Because Hamas has even itself revised those figures down and acknowledged that they are false. No, but I can tell you the ratio, even on the basis of Hamas figures.
You can tell me the ratio without, but how do you know if you don't know how many have died?
I can tell you the ratio even on the basis of the false Hamas
figures. You've no idea how many have been killed, but you can tell me the ratio.
What the heck?
I can tell you the ratio.
He's not even listening, man.
Yeah, what? Like she's saying, okay, here's our estimates. But if you're complaining about our estimates and saying we're biased, I can tell you the ratio even based on this. Well, how do you know? Okay, Piers, then there's no source of information. I'm saying I will give you the ratio based on the most biased in favor of their side. I will base it on that. And he's going, well, how do you know? How do you know? It looks like he's just like whining about everything she said. When you're interjecting on that, like I won't even let you use the statistics that I would use. It sounds like I'm just going to contradict anything you say. Anything that comes out of your mouth, I'm going to interject.
I mean, she says Hamas are terrorists. They are unreliable. We don't trust their numbers. But even if you want to take their numbers, let me go with their...
Whoa, those numbers. Whoa.
No, let me give you their numbers.
Whoa. How do you know their numbers are right?
No, let me give
you... Whoa. How are you speaking?
Wow, man.
What a douche, man.
You're a smart lawyer. Do you not understand how ridiculous that sounds?
Listening to my Piers, this is not how court.
This is so ridiculous, man.
Wow.
This is wild.
Gosh, and so this is what led to everyone flipping out on him and him like saying, "I will block anyone."
Yeah.
Wow. And I tried to get blocked, and
they've all been to many war zones.
That's
whether it's Clarissa
Ward
at CNN, Jeremy Nolan at BBC. I know a lot of these people might
defend them no matter what. Natasha, does Israel have nuclear weapons?
Sorry, I'm an independent
Does Israel have nuclear weapons?
Of the English bar.
Yes or no?
That's a good question.
So, the thing is, we want to look at the background of this a little bit further. This guy posted a nice meme. I found this very funny. I'm honestly gobsmacked. You sound brazenly anti-Semitic, but anyway, it was good seeing you, Herr Hitler. It was so good. I retweeted it. I loved it. Yeah.
Anything with that guy on it, you love.
Yeah. It's a very good account. I would recommend following, definitely. Piers Morgan would sell his mother for clicks, said Avi Yemini. Very, very rude.
But
very
true.
rude.
True, but rude.
Egyptian atheist, my friend, just told him, enjoy the Arab money, you pathetic sellout, and he got blocked for this by Piers Morgan. But here's what Piers Morgan said. Here's Natasha Hausdorff saying Piers Morgan asks for the truth but refuses to hear it.
Assessment themselves. Israel has decided no journalists from outside can go in.
For 3 reasons.
And make that assessment themselves.
Yes.
What right does Israel have to do that?
For 3 reasons. Will you allow me to finish?
Well, there are no reasons. It's none of your business whether the journalists view their safety as being at risk.
I'm sorry, you haven't heard the reasons yet. The first, of course, is the safety of the journalists, and I appreciate you don't accept that. The second...
I think it's a load of nonsense.
The second is the safety...
The idea you're doing is that...
Look at this. He's asking a question.
Yeah, imagine, hey, why is this?
Well, let me...
Hey, I said, why is this?
Well,
I said, why is this? That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. Stop lying. Stop lying to me. Stop lying. Get off my show.
Well, let me explain
what idiot invited you on this show?
Okay,
I did.
Well, you asked me a question.
I said, shut up. I'm British. Sorry. If that's all it takes. Piers, let me guest host your show. I can do that all day, man. I can do that.
Some quaint concern for the safety of journalists is
like bullshit. Trying to say non-existence, existence.
That was reason number one. Reason number two is the...
Is that the Beefler, man? What is this?
These better get better.
Is the ability of IDF soldiers to be able to conduct this war against Hamas without...
without the journalists getting in the way?
No, without...
They've actually, by the way...
This is so annoying.
By the way, first of all, isn't that a legitimate concern? One... You know, if you just let in any journalist who says he wants to go there, a ton of those people are like pro-Hamas and stuff like that, and so on. But I mean, think if you're conducting a war and you're saying, and you have a group that likes to hide behind civilians and so on, likes to hide amongst people to use them as human shields so that you can't kill the Hamas jihadi without killing the journalist or the child or the woman or something. You're saying, hey, let's flood the entire area with more human shields. That's the request, right? Is that not the request?
Yeah.
Flood the area with more human shields for the terrorists. That's what I'm hearing.
So, you can find that in wars in general, you will have the same treatment done by both sides in each war. For example, I just made use of wonderful AI answers right here. In the Ukraine-Russia war, do both sides severely restrict journalist access? Yes, access for journalists on both sides is heavily restricted in different ways. So both sides, Russia and Ukraine, severely restrict journalist access in the fighting zones for different reasons. Will we ever hear anything about this? No, it's only when Israel does it that this gets international attention and criticism and questions without listening to answers, as it's done by Piers Morgan. It is in every single war that takes place. It is a very reasonable measure to severely restrict access to journalists to go into the battlefield. It's a very, very normal issue. You can have them in certain posts at certain places to overlook, or you can have certain phases where you can allow it. But mostly, as the brutal fighting is going on, and as there is no ceasefire, you usually don't allow in journalists. That's it.
And I mean, I would just have to point out, even if it was completely normal to always let journalists, this is a different type of war from almost any other war that goes on. In that, in every other war almost that you have, it's we send out our soldiers to go fight your soldiers and so on. And so if there's press around there, that's fine. If you're fighting in an area against a group that acknowledges and is completely known for using people as human shields, do you send them a ton of human shields? Knowing that what are they going to do? They're going to always make sure there's a journalist with the fighters. and they're going to be launching their attack from the midst of the journalists. And then anytime there's a counterattack, it's going to take out a journalist. And they say, look, they're targeting the journalists, you see? That's what they want. And so it kind of makes sense to say we're not doing that. This is a different type of war. You can't have the normal stuff in this war.
Also, imagine you allow journalists in there, and the journalism basically starts exposing your your strategies, your strategic locations, endangering your army, and so on. It's like she was basically giving these answers anyway, and he just doesn't want to listen.
The way they kill more journalists
So his response to this is, "It certainly wasn't coming out of your disingenuous mouth."
Mm.
And then anyone who responded to this, he started blocking them.
Boom.
He started blocking them. So people started posting about how Piers Morgan blocks everybody. Oh yeah, Steve Broman, list me all places in Ukraine where journalists are not allowed. Grok lists places where journalists are not allowed, or in over 50 municipalities. Very, very funny. But hey, let's just talk about Israel.
Hey, when he started blocking everyone, I tried to block him and I didn't get blocked. I don't know if I have to try again. He doesn't see them all. But I quote tweeted him and I said, what's the difference between Greta Thunberg and Piers Morgan? One is an annoying, Hamas-supporting, whiny little attention whore. The other is Greta Thunberg. I figured that would be guaranteed to get me blocked, and it didn't at all. This is weird, man. I don't know what his criteria are.
Today, he also attacked Douglas Murray.
The battle of the posh British accents begins.
So he actually attacked Douglas Murray. And the funny thing is, he has had quite a good relationship with Douglas Murray. So when I saw it, I was wondering if Douglas Murray said something that was really upsetting to him, which is why he attacked him. But here's the video. Here's what he attacked him over. This is it.
I was interested watching Piers Morgan a couple of days ago talking to the international lawyer, a friend of mine, Natasha Hausdorff, and being exceptionally rude and dismissive and disparaging and really unprofessional with her. Really unprofessional. Just shouting that she was talking bullshit and not allowing her to finish an answer, and just such ugly hatred that he was expressing towards what was just a different opinion from the one that he's found himself holding. And he turns to comic Dave Smith and he says, these Israelis, so they're treating us like that we're just clowns, sort of thing. Again, your other guest is literally a clown. That's his job. His job is to be a clown. The fact that
that's true.
I don't think he's ever said anything funny to my knowledge. But it's like there in the name. Your job is to be a clown. You look a little bit at these people and you think, what do I have to pay attention to this? Where does it become serious enough that you have to pay attention? And I think it becomes serious enough that you have to pay attention when this falls into a groove which is just highly recognizable. And if it falls into that groove and it actually has some impact, and it's quite hard in our current media and the social media landscape to work out what is impactful. So that, as I say, there's been a sort of flattening process whereby an international lawyer like Natasha Hausdorff, 20 years experience at the bar, is to be invited on as a guest with a comedian and not just as equals, but actually as her then worse off. Her knowledge and expertise makes her less desirable to listen to than a comedian just riffing on stuff he's read online. And so there's this very weird media and social media landscape.
So this is it. Did he say anything that should now warrant a direct personal attack at him?
No, seemed completely honest and reasonable. Little side note, when did he have brown hair? In my head, I picture him with brown hair, and he's like gray now. When did that happen? Did I miss it? Was I not paying attention?
Maybe he was dyeing his hair. Maybe he was dyeing his hair, and now he thinks, I'll just let it go like this.
I'm just wondering, can you like just go gray really, really quick? Like, could that like 2 years from now just like go gray in like 2 months?
Maybe. And now here is Piers Morgan's response. I like Douglas Murray personally, but on the Israel-Hamas war, he's like his friend Natasha, just a hyper-partisan hack who will defend anything Israel's government does, however indefensible. As for comic Dave Smith, he's one of my favorite repeat guests. Smart, funny, and interesting. Now, I have listened to Dave Smith's takes on things. I have to say, I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that Dave Smith and Piers Morgan combined probably have neither the IQ nor the expertise of Douglas Murray alone or Natasha Hausdorff.
Yeah, can you imagine 2-on-2, like moderated, like serious, like timed moderate? You can't jump in and start screaming over the other. 2-on-2. That would be one of the biggest massacres in history. Apart from that, Piers, there's no you in favorite, idiot. Anyway, what? Before it, British people.
But yeah, so this is just it's amazing, man. This is his response to people. Then he starts blocking everybody. It is insane, absolutely insane. And he attacks people who actually call him out on this stuff. He attacks people who call him out on all of this. And then we have here something very, very funny.
So, Piers Morgan is ethnically cleansing his entire timeline.
That's funny.
Because he got called out. So he's going around and he's blocking pretty much every pro-Israel account he can find. And here's why. Piers Morgan...
So, yeah. He's going through...
This guy has some wicked blue eyes, man.
Going through all the accounts and blocking it. This guy is, his name is Misfit Patriot.
His eyes are as blue as the twilight, but he's jealous of my brown eyes, which are as brown as brown shoes.
So he's just going around blocking everyone, and most people just for saying some random stuff like, this was very bad for you.
And yet I make fun of him as worse than Greta Thunberg, and I can't get blocked, man. I wonder if he's like, well, Greta Thunberg is the greatest human being alive, so that's a compliment.
Wait, this guy actually blocked Piers Morgan himself while Piers Morgan was following him, but he decided to block Piers Morgan.
In your faith, Piers Morgan.
That's funny, man. That is funny.
I wonder how long he's going to be able to keep this up, because he's going to tick off everyone, right? Like, Muslims were mad at him for the longest time for even allowing anyone to defend Israel on his show at all, or even asking questions about anything. So they were already enraged at him. Fortunately for him, they will flip-flop very quickly. Like if you attack the Israel's defending lawyer and so on, then they will, I would guess they're going to flip-flop and be like, Piers is the greatest journalist of all time now.
You see?
But seriously, I mean, how long can you keep it? Because if Piers is flip-flopping and you keep enraging people, like, how long before it costs you too many viewers?
It's true. You see, in a cruel irony, a show called Uncensored effectively censored a guest through aggression and derision, says Jonathan Sacerdoti.
I remember that name from somewhere.
He was in a debate at the Oxford Union thingy with Natasha Hausdorff and with Mossab Hassan Youssef against these pro-Palestine peeps. Welcome to the show, Dan. I hate Jews. I'm literally a Nazi. And get the F out of my studio.
I think the Hamas-run health ministry are unreliable and stuff.
Here was his explanation. Blocking a lot of very angry and abusive numpties today. It's for their own good. All that shrieking can't be good for their blood pressure. Reminder, no appeals process.
Oh, we're going to appeal if you block. It's funny. Everyone who gets blocked is like, I got blocked by Piers Morgan. Like, you will never be able to get back on my good side again. There's no appeals. You will never be forgiven.
I'm blocked. I can't reply to him.
See? No appeals.
He also actually directly commented on why he blocked me. It was a while ago. Fleur said you were the only one shrieking, but as long as the check clears. Kind of she was often on his show as well. I guess she won't be invited back.
Nope. No Jews. No Jews allowed on Piers Morgan anymore. Unless they're anti-Israel Jews. It's just Crackhead Barney from now on, I guess.
Yeah. Invite Crackhead Barney and Myron Gaines back on.
Piers Morgan's favorite words, me and views.
Yeah. Update, me holding this repellent atrocity-denying lawyer to account has now been viewed 1 million times. Oh, congratulations.
I actually want to see what people think about this.
What do they think about what, mate?
I want to go to the actual video and see what people are saying in the comments.
What people think about what, mate? What people think about what, mate? So yeah, that's that. That's that. It's pretty bad stuff. Pretty. He quickly turned into this, man. Look at this.
What?
Piers Morgan about Natasha Hausdorff says, lying Israeli government spinning lawyer preaches about disinformation. Hilarious. When did he turn into this? Like, he was very different just half a year ago or so. Now he's directed. Oh, look at this Israeli liar. Look at this Israeli government liar. Oh. Let's see. I want to just recall what he said about me. I think he called me an annoying prick. Let's see. Annoying prick. Annoying prick. What is it? Can you call me an annoying prick? I can find it now. Prick. He seems to use the word prick quite often. I can't even find it now. Huh, interesting. Annoying.
Nobody talked trash about you?
Maybe he deleted.
I mean, he had a point.
Maybe he deleted it because.
Maybe he had a point.
Because he thought, oh no, I said something negative about him. What if he? Oh, there he is. So here he is. Here, Mish asked, "Hey, Piers Morgan, why did you blog Apostate Prophet?" And I actually responded to this and said he will make some dumb excuse to hide the fact that he blocked me because I calmly exposed his hypocrisy. And here's what I actually said. Piers Morgan invited one of the worst people online on his show yesterday, despite refusing to speak to Tommy Robinson over fake Islamophobia concerns. Myron Gaines is an open supporter of Hitler and Nazis and is openly against Jews. Here's a random thread. And then I just posted a bunch of things by Myron Gaines. In response to this, Piers Morgan blocked me. And his explanation was, as I predicted, because he's an annoying prick and I have a strict block all annoying pricks policy. So he called me an annoying prick because I called out his hypocrisy here. That's it.
He's got a point.
He called me an annoying prick.
That should be your, what do they call it? Your like the little description under your name.
Yeah.
He's an annoying prick.
I am quite an annoying
Piers
prick
Morgan.
Sometimes. If you are a dishonest liar, I am indeed an annoying prick. But apparently annoying pricks that engage in pure anti-Semitic bullshit are absolutely welcome. Keep counting those clicks, buddy.
Yeah, isn't it? I mean, that's the amazing part. I mean,
look at this guy.
This annoying prick who calls himself Apostate Prophet gets regularly threatened with death for leaving Islam. But since he dares to criticize the ideology that calls for his death, I'm blocking him. Piers embodies the cowardice of his nation.
That's funny. I have no recollection of writing that, but it sounds like me.
It is kind of funny though that annoying prick is basically AP. You know?
Yeah, that is funny. I wonder if that's intentional.
You know what's the best thing about this? All of this is though.
What?
That David Dreiman came to my defense. Man, I couldn't have wished more out of this. I should.
Oh, that dude.
That's the lead singer of Disturbed.
Yeah, that dude. When I got something blocked on YouTube, where it was just all I did was post a picture of us standing in front of a Humvee, and I posted, and I said, "Nowhere to hide, jihadis." And then YouTube took it down for promoting violence or some crap like that. And I'm like, "What? You think I'm serious? Like we're actually going one? If we're actually going after jihadis, would you have a problem with it? But two, you think we're actually going after jihadis and stuff? Anyway." I shared that and he retweeted that, so that was cool.
Here you go, man. This is the guy. This guy came to my
defense.
That's
that dude. Hello, darkness, my old friend.
This guy came to my defense against Piers Morgan.
I've come to talk with you again.
This man came to my defense.
Because a vision
I'm not gonna play the
softly creeping,
This guy who made an amazing cover.
left its seeds while I was sleeping.
The funny thing is also I went to with my wife to a concert of his. Only like when was that?
Did he sing Sound of Silence?
Was it last year? Was it the year before? I don't even know. Yeah, he did. But then,
Hey! Since he's a huge fan, you should say, hey, can you make us some custom live stream intro music? See what he says. Worst thing he'd do is say, "What? Get out of here, man!" But he might be like, "I like your stuff. I follow you. Of course, I will." Get the hell out of here.
he will say,
Get the hell out of here!
that's what he'll say.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. That's a weird situation. There are occasionally people who sing a song better than the original. I mentioned that with Joe Cocker and his version of "What Would You Do If I Sang Out of Tune?" He crushed the Beatles. George Thorogood sang a song better than Hank Williams. There's some people who can pull it off. These, I can't say one is better than the other. They're different. I can't say it's better than the original, but he crushed it. I like both of them. That's what normally he was like, "Oh, come on, you're trying to redo a song and then you suck."
Michael says, if you think Jew didn't kill Jesus, you are deceived. Michael, are you retarded or something?
But wait a minute, what was Jesus?
Are you seriously? Are you like mentally handicapped?
Yes, you guys are sitting here saying that the Jews had nothing to do with Jesus. How could you be so stupid?
You know, it's funny actually that in one of the cases where Jesus talks about how he will be betrayed and killed, what he actually says is that he will be handed over. He doesn't make any mention of Jews. He actually does say that he will be handed over to the Gentiles, who will then, what does he say, torture?
So, hey, Michael, guess what? Jews and Gentiles had something to do with that.
Which verse is that?
Hey, someone said he was in Israel the same time we were.
Which verse is that again? Matthew 20:19, Mark 10, they will hand him over to the Gentiles, over them to be mocked, flogged. Okay, Matthew 20. So Gentiles, man, Gentiles really suck, you know.
Gentiles suck, and the Gentiles bowed and prayed to the neon god they'd made. And the sign flashed out its warning.
Freaking Goyim, the Goyim suck, man.
Did you not know that the Jews sit around calling you Goy all day?
Look at these.
In your face.
Jesus foretells his death a third time. And as Jesus was going up to Jerusalem, he took the 12 disciples aside, and on the way he said to them, "See, we are going up to Jerusalem, and the Son of Man will be delivered over to the chief priests and scribes, and they will condemn him to death, and deliver him over to the Gentiles to be mocked and flogged and crucified, and he will be raised on the third day." It's very interesting. He talks about how the chief priests and the scribes will hand him over, and who will be doing all the bad stuff to him? The Gentiles will mock and flog and crucify him. Freaking Gentiles. What's wrong with these dumb Gentiles?
Sitting here like an idiot thinking the Gentiles had nothing to do with the crucifixion.
The Goyim.
You see? And if the Gentiles did that, then all Gentiles are evil.
Stupid Goyim, man.
What's a Goyim? Dumb Goyim.
Arshmite, I'll take water baptism, thank you. I don't know, I'm kind of into the whole blood thing, you know. It'll be cool. Blood baptism. Jonathan Guevara, what do you think of the charismatic church? Doesn't sound very charismatic to me. What do you think, David?
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think different Christians, your body's got different Christians who like different kinds of worship and things like that, so I don't have a problem with it. But I'm not
softly creeping.
Not part of that.
left to say it well. Searching deeper, if the men from Al-Zut were jinn demons, it seems to indicate Muhammad had no authority over demons. Jesus could chase away demons with mere words. Yep.
That's a good point. So, matter of fact, you could compare two passages where Muhammad meets the Al-Zut, if they want to say those are jinn, and what do they mount him and possess him all night and leave his butt in pain. You can compare that with passages about demons trembling in fear around Jesus.
Yeah. Adam Bernard, two bros chilling in a super based man cave. Enjoy getting dunked. Yeah. Not happening.
Like in December, maybe, and then they'll probably reschedule it then. Say, no, we've decided to go back to 3 years.
The God particles that in Europe we don't see a difference between ISIS and Turks. It's pretty racist. Brian to the Booze says, AAP, I entered as an inquirer last summer and charismated Pascha. My wife has to wait till next. We like that this ain't a drive-through wedding. We're praying for you. I entered as an inquirer last summer and charismated at Pascha. This Easter, my wife has to wait till next. Wow. Yeah, I know. It just came as a big disappointment, so I was kind of upset about it, but I see how mine was meant to be very mine was going to be very short if it was going to happen this weekend compared to most people. So Mrs. Ali Dawa says, new Al-Zut song, yeah, great in it, like a prophet touched for the very first time. Ida Rogozin, you can see that David is spending more time with AP. He started to touch and mess with his beard more like AP. Are you copying me, man? What's wrong with you? Jack Gray, let's make it interesting. Natasha Housestuff has better connections and a superior accent to Piers. Will Piers get the Tommy treatment now? He should. He did say that he is, Tommy Robinson did announce that he's going to be on Piers Morgan, right?
That's what it sounded like. I don't know if they set anything up officially, but it sounded like they're both willing. I got Tommy schooling Piers, man. Schooling him. Humiliating him.
I feel bad for annoying prick. I know. I'm as annoying prick. I'm very sad right now. My name is Annoying Prick, and I'm pretty sad. Pretty sad.
Someone said there's a war going on in LA. Did I miss something, or are they just saying like in general?
There is no war, man.
I'm looking it up. I'm looking it up now in your face.
A war between the state of California and the state of Nevada.
Oh, clashes resume in LA.
What clashes?
Immigration enforcement draws new protests. Tear gas and flashbangs have been used to disperse crowds protesting the operations.
Okay. I saw a video earlier today where they were trying to stop an SUV or something that was carrying illegal immigrants, and the SUV then tried to get out the way and eventually ran one of the guys over, then left.
Hey, look. Trump says Musk will pay the consequences if he starts funding Democrats. Have you seen any indication that Musk wants to fund Democrats? Sounds like if he does anything, it's going to be starting as a new party.
To be very honest, I don't think there's much that Donald Trump can actually do to Elon Musk. Or the other way around.
Except they can humiliate each other.
Which kind of sounds like a problem. Serge Yasu in Tokyo, he wants more momos in Japan. Neil Bunny with Douglas Murray, she won Monk debate 1 year ago. Powerful. Oh, there was that debate, wasn't there? Douglas Murray and Natasha Hausdorff.
Monk debate. Who are they facing?
Natasha Hausdorff and Douglas Murray.
Said versus Mohammed Hijab and Ali Dow. Who are they debating?
Mahdi Hassan.
Oh, that would probably be like best in the world as far as that side. And who? Gideon Levi? Who's that?
Wait, this was only. Is this new?
Was that?
Oh, Monk
debate a year ago.
Here. Monk debate on anti-Semitism.
Yeah, it's last year, man.
The same thing. Same thing. This is it.
It's last year.
This was just posted new, but this is the same thing. Okay.
Champion of Jews.
What? What is in no video, mate?
By the presence.
What's going on here? Whatever.
It says the affirmative won.
Piers, you want to protect people? Why? Is anti-Zionism anti-Semitism? That one? That's cool. Piers, you want to
Anti-Zionism.
protect people. Why? The best thing Piers Morgan has ever done was to get punched in the face by Jeremy Clarkson. I want to see that now.
What? I want to see that. Look up. You put that on repeat. We'll just sit there and watch that for an entire live stream over and over again.
Piers Morgan punched by Kelly Clarkson.
Kelly Clarkson.
In a high-profile incident in 2004, Jeremy Clarkson punched Piers Morgan 3 times
Well,
at
show
the
it,
British
dang it.
Press Award. Can we see that? Is there a video of that? Is there a video of that? Is there such a video? Did it happen on camera or what? I don't see it anywhere. Do you see it anywhere, David?
What about you in terms of sport? You said you're not sporty.
You go. He's funny these people. Also,
Which video are you looking at?
That's
What is
best actor. That's Floyd.
I don't know, man.
There's one. Hang on. I will look here and see if this is the one.
There probably isn't a video. There probably isn't a video. Is there? Probably not.
There's one that's called that. I'm looking through it right now.
You see?
Oh, I saw 0 punches.
The best thing, Arctic Bay said Natasha will be avenged. Mumu Joe says journalists get hurt. They blame only Israel, even when the journalist is a Hamas helper. Why Israel would not try to prevent that? That's true. That's very true, isn't it? The messed up thing about this is also that Piers Morgan, in that same show, invited somebody who is I think, related to a Hamas guy. He invited Ahmed Al-Anouk. Ahmed Al-Anouk. Al-Anouk. Did he just nuke Ahmed Al-Anouk? Human rights activists. IDF killed my entire family. We are being exterminated. Co-founder. So he invited this guy on the same show that he had with Dave Smith and Natasha Hausdorff. So the discussion ends here.
Discussing Hamas that got way into without enabling civilians when it couldn't go and
with a country who's not in the non.
I think he didn't answer. Natasha Hausdorff, thank you both very much. He didn't answer. So yeah, I think I've actually asked Netanyahu myself that very question, and he didn't answer. So yeah, I think it'd be a very interesting topic for debate. We've got to leave it there. Dave Smith, Natasha Hausdorff, thank you both very much.
There's video of both of them describing what happened, but I can't find anything where it happened.
Because you tweeted in April.
So after on the same episode where he invited Natasha Hausdorff and Dave Smith on, he actually afterwards, this guy was sitting there the entire time, had a conversation with Ahmed Al-Anouk, who is related to actual Hamas members, and then also complained that the IDF actually killed his family and all that. He was related to Hamas members, and who also reports on behalf of a pro-Hamas organization that poses as a human rights organization. So this is the kind of stuff that Piers Morgan nowadays interacts with. It is very, very reasonable to believe that there are also recent photos surfacing of Piers Morgan being well received in the Gulf countries by businessmen. It might be safe to assume that he has a new arrangement in terms of business and politics. Mumu Joe, journalists get hurt. Yeah, Asa said, Asa, what's up, Asa? Not all Muslims, but not all snakes are poisonous. But if you fall into a pit full of snakes, you can't tell them apart. That's true. That's pretty racist, though. Ashmays, you see, AP, people in the chat say I don't count as a Jew anymore because I've embraced Christianity despite the IDF service and being Jewish. You see? Okay, that's very interesting. It's very cool. Mumu Joe, why PM keep saying Israel killed as if Israel want to? It is a war. Grown ass women getting paid to play hero in war. They are not more important than others. Madness. Well, the good thing is that Piers doesn't really have an impact on anything here. Kirka, thank you guys. Our Israel native homegrown anti-propaganda are mostly brain-dead folks. You're doing a holy job instead of our world-class dumb government and even worse, IDF representatives. Don't say that. It's pretty rude. It's pretty rude. Everybody's doing their job. Everybody be doing their job, you know. Mark H. Watch first few seconds of Raymond Ibrahim's video for his new book. We should call him Raymond Swolbrahim. Why?
What?
Why?
Yeah, it's I asked him about that because he used to be a bodybuilder back in the day, and then he got all out of shape. And then when I did a live stream with him like last year, whatever, he was all shredded again. He's like, he's not young anymore. It gets significantly harder when you're old. And I said, and so I asked him, and it was interesting because it was the same. It was close to the same thing. Dave Chappelle got all swole after being like a totally skinny.
Yeah.
And he basically said, he'd be ticked off about stuff, and what are you gonna do? And Dave Chappelle said, I started going to the gym, anyway, Raymond said something similar. He gets ticked off about stuff, and he said, "Okay, let me go over to the gym and take this out over at the gym, and just get buff and stuff." Apparently,
Buff and stuff.
I get buff and stuff with my Afro puffs. Hey,
Victoria Knox said Dave Smith is an R-word slur. R-slur. He's an R-slur. He's a big R-slur.
What an R-slur.
Piers Morgan is also an R-slur. R-slur. You R-slur. Jack Ray, Piers Morgan plus Dave Smith clown show. Yeah, 2 R-slurs. Apple Baker, I'll Puff Daddy. Post-baptism celebration meal, sushi, pasta.
What are you even talking about? It's going to be Christmas time.
All of them. Cedric Debreu, hey AP, check out the writings of Edith Stan, Teresa Benedicta of the Cross. She converted to Christianity and was murdered in Auschwitz. I've heard of her. I also looked up stuff about her before. Edith Stein. I gotta look into her a little bit further. Either goes in Gaza is the biggest terror base. The whole thing is booby-trapped and people are dying. Soldiers are dying. He wants journalists to come. Is he serious? He is serious. He's also a serious idiot. Metamorphosis. What are you reading?
I'm just looking up some verses.
Oh, yeah. Good. Metamorphosis. It's Piers Lily J. Morgan. I think he figured out that he can get money from Islam.
Yeah, that's rich.
Yeah. Messed up. Tom. It's quite unfortunate seeing you switch from one cult to another cult after years. Maybe a trauma response rather than a rational decision. Yeah, everyone is retarded. You're smart. You're the most intelligent person out there. Everybody else is like unintelligent, stupid.
Thank you for the financial contribution, though, Tom.
Thank you for this very, very intelligent remark.
Yeah.
Thank you for honoring us with
you blew our minds
with your very intelligent presence.
Wow, we're like, we never thought of that.
Never heard this before.
I only heard that like 1,700 times a day.
Wow.
For the past 15 years.
Never heard this before, man.
Not the most original bunch, are they?
The most amazing line I've ever heard in my life. You left one cult
to
another cult.
Hey, you forgot to go Sky Daddy, Sky Daddy, Sky Daddy.
Sky Daddy, your God doesn't exist, by the way. Never thought about that. Never thought about that.
Out of the frying pan and into the other frying pan.
Have you ever thought about this?
No, have you ever thought about this?
I am the most smartest person in the world.
I was told that as long as I run around going Sky Daddy, this means I'm the smart group.
Thank you for the €6, Tom. I wish I could. I wish I could send it back to you right here, so you could buy yourself a book to read or something.
Or a brain cell.
Yeah.
Or an original thought for once in your life.
Man. Look, I don't want to be rude, or I don't want to be,
I'll be rude. I'll be the rude one.
Don't want to be act.
You be nice.
Act like I want to be bullying somebody or anything. But you see how dumb this is, right? You see how it's like you're coming here with a comment that is just basically patronizing, and that basically just in way more words that we have all heard 50 million times. You're basically saying,
"Oh, I'm smarter than you. Why don't you listen to me? Because you're stupid."
Yeah.
I got all my information from memes.
So you should probably expect at least a little bit of a rude reaction to that idiotic comment, as I have just given to you. So
yeah, let me just add, Tom, that is your name. Back in the day when the new atheism came out, that was pretty much the tactic. Hey, if we run around just saying, "Oh, you're all dumb, you're not smart. If you want to be smart and rational and scientific, you have to join our group. If you're not in our group, you're just in a cult. You're stupid."
There's an R group.
Yeah. If you just run around doing that, then guess what? It'll actually work on certain people who fall for that kind of thing. So guess what? You guys went and did that, and then everyone who is dumb enough and gullible enough to fall for that sort of thing fell for that sort of thing. But what was left was people who aren't going to fall for that sort of thing. And now you have no plan B, so you're using the same thing on people that doesn't work on. And you just look really stupid.
Yeah. I think it's also a great sign of arrogance. You know, I was in that position too of thinking, oh, I have it all figured out, man. Look at these stupid people going around.
I know. I was there. I saw it. I witnessed this myself.
I know. It's a very cool feeling to act like that.
I'm so smart. It feels good being so smart for doing nothing but saying Sky Daddy, and religious tards. Look at all these religious tards. We're smart. We have a reason rally. Look at all these idiots. Reason rally.
But then I realized that our group is actually an R group. So you're basically in an R group, not in an our group. So your group is actually an R group, and you need to stop being an R group. And maybe you should join our group instead of being in an R group.
The flowetry's in motion, ladies and gentlemen.
Hazrat Muhammad says, did Muhammad have his leather strap the night of the Al-Zut meeting?
No, he needed the leather strap after his night with Al-Zut.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. Paolo Longaro, you two having a sleepover? Love you guys. What are you, gay? Joseph said, Disturbed is amazing. Oh, hi, David. Disturbed is indeed amazing. Yeah.
Oh, they were amazing until I found out there was a Jew in the group. And why are they called Disturbed? If they were amazing, they wouldn't be disturbed. Yeah, so they think the Jews are disturbed. It doesn't make any sense.
Collective consciousness. By the way, I noticed that AP removed D from his X bio. I wonder what changed. I recently removed a bunch of things from my bio. I might put it back sometime again.
You had a Z in your X bio?
Yeah, there was a Z like for Zorro. Then I removed it. Yeah. The fatwa, Piers to me has always represented the establishment view. I never saw his views as principled or his own. It's scary to me. This may be the new established view.
That is a serious concern. We mentioned that earlier, like how quickly. I mean, if you went back like 10 years and said, mainstream journalists and things like that, and everyone's going to be, on the side of freaking Hamas, you'd be like, come on, man. This is not going to, come on, man. Yeah, it happened in the 20th century. It's not going to happen anymore. Wrong. Just happened right in front of your eyes. Look at how fast people can just flip based on the peer pressure of a bunch of idiot college students screaming. It's amazing. And a bunch of people going, we're the victims. Yeah, we went and slaughtered a bunch of people and then raped a bunch of people and they took a bunch of hostages, but they're retaliating. Oh my God, they're retaliating.
Yep. Ida, what's up? OMG, you can't say retard.
That's true.
That's true. You can say retard. Shouldn't say retard.
What do you think about saying the retard word?
Holy Joe, would the Islamic dilemma be destroyed if we went by the last time it was mentioned chronologically, or would it stand since it was never abrogated? What? This makes sense. What do you think, David?
It stands. There's nothing that changes anything in the Islamic dilemma. Like it runs throughout the entire Quran.
You see.
U351, nice B. Does David have a dedicated accent for Orthobros? We don't do Orthobros accent, man. Orthobros are the most respected people in the world. So
my Orthobro accent would be exact same as my Dawa dude accent.
Huh.
Oh, I'm an Orthobro. Look at me.
Paolo Longaro. Ironically, Latino immigration is the only thing that can save birth rates of Christians in the USA.
In USA.
I'm actually here to change the Orthobro community, so that's what I'm doing. Powerful. With my interventions, the Orthobro community is going to become more respectable. I'm also kind of on a path of infiltrating the Orthodox Church and changing it toward how I think it should be instead of how it is. Just going ahead and moving forward with that. Sean Ferris, John 10:18. No one takes it from me, but I lay it down of my own accord. I have authority to lay it down and authority to take it up again. This command I received from my Father. Yeah, I don't really understand how anyone who actually reads the New Testament fully can come to this whole conclusion of blaming a certain group for killing Jesus and saying, look, well, this is what they did. This is what they did to Jesus. I mean, it's very, very clear in every single gospel, and also in the Romans, in the other New Testament books, that it is that Jesus comes and does it of his own will. That this is the plan. That he also clearly and explicitly says several times that it is out of ignorance that people are doing this, what they're doing. And his last words are, forgive them. So, and then to actually make it about Jews is just the most ridiculous thing. Considering that the disciples, the apostles, and Jesus himself are all Jews. They cite one passage where Paul says, and the Jews who killed Jesus. And they say, look, he says the Jews killed him, thereby completely misunderstanding the context in which he talks about the people or their leaders killing Jesus in comparison to the community in the church that he writes about also being, persecuting the people and so on. It's not about Jews, it's about the leadership of the people out of ignorance, going with the plan by the will of God himself, by the will of Jesus himself, who lays down his life, and fulfilling the ultimate plan. The reason or the conclusion of all of this should never have been in anyone's proper mind that we now have to hate a certain group of people. This is so ridiculous. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, the mature perspective is that everyone's involved directly or indirectly. Indirectly because we're all sinners in need of a savior. And you had Jews and Gentiles involved. It's just weird. No one says, oh, you're saying Gentiles, you're saying that Gentiles must be destroyed and the Gentiles today are responsible. Like, people do that with one group. But it's interesting that various people over the centuries, like, they get that point. I forget who it was. Was it like Rembrandt or something like that, who did a painting of the crucifixion and he made himself like one of the people who was crucifying Jesus?
What?
It was one of those painters. I think Rembrandt. And then, like, for the Passion of the Christ, Mel Gibson, when they're putting the nail in, he made sure it was his hand that was holding the nail and stuff like that. They're like, hey, this is all of us here.
Very, very totally based. Hobocop says, I'm Ali Darwa. Welcome to the Dawa. I'm gonna show you all the shapes. You're gonna hear me scream. Go ahead, read it, David.
I'm Ali Darwa. Welcome to the Dawa. I'm gonna show you all the what is it? I don't even know how to say that. Shapes. Oh, you're gonna hear me scream. I don't know if that's supposed to be something we're familiar with. Put it back.
It's gone already.
Put it back.
Can't put it back.
I know what it is now. That was Welcome to the Jungle, man. That was Welcome to the Jungle.
Is it?
Yeah. Shapes.
Can't find
Tower. Welcome to the tower.
Here?
You're good.
Here.
I'm on the tower. Welcome to the tower. Shapes. I don't know exactly how it fits into the song. We scream.
Ashman says David would stop. That's almost as annoying as the original.
Yeah. You know, it's weird. I hated Guns N' Roses when they came out because everyone else in the middle school liked them, and I was like a contrarian. Wasn't until later that I started liking some of their songs.
Yeah. Last Spicy Ramen. AP, I trust your spiritual father's decision. It wasn't even really his decision. He wanted to do it quickly, but it didn't work.
He's like, this man is clearly going to be a future pope. We need to fast track him.
I trust your spiritual father's decision that it has been decided with best intentions, even if upsetting. Now David Wood can go to liturgy with tomorrow and come over for Christmas. Keep up the awesome fight. Powerful. Oh yeah, we're going to liturgy tomorrow. Right?
I don't want to, but I got to check out of the hotel, so I might have to. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to see what time stuff is.
The liturgy starts at 9:30, so you got to wake up early and go there.
I could just leave the hotel and go hang out at like Walmart or something, or McDonald's.
Dad, David Wood has a lovely smile, one of the finest in the 7 seas.
Rick Martell, AP, is David Wood scary in person? Scarier? What are you talking about?
Like scary?
Yeah. Yes. Ashman, AP changes opinion, atheist confirmation bias.
Yeah.
Yeah. See? You see? My wife said he scares the dog.
Your dog's funny. You could just turn around like this and the dog will jump.
Yeah. But he's become kind of best friends with you over the last days.
Yeah. I'm growing on him.
Yeah. Powerful. Hi guys, I'm reading The Case for Christ by Lee Strobel. Any other recs on learning about Christ, Christian incorporation in psychology? Sorry if that's very specific. David, what are your recommendations on this?
What do you mean incorporation in psych?
Psych.
Fuck. I don't know what that means.
See, Holy Joe says, how do you say retarded cover in Arabic? Good question. Paulina, no, finally catching you live. Greetings from Israel, and congrats on your becoming upcoming baptism. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Muhammad is how you say it in Arabic.
Oh yeah, that's true. So David, what do you say? Finally, what's your final recommendation here?
What? I don't know what it means. Incorporation in psych?
Psych. Christian Gadfly says, C.S. Lewis talks about a perfect man being impaled in the Republic. C.S. Lewis says this isn't something other than the passion in his psalm book.
Oh yeah, I noticed the connection between that story, which is long before, that's centuries before Jesus. I recognize that in the Republic. I didn't know C.S. Lewis wrote something about that.
Wait, did you really not understand that the question was meant to be about psychology? Incorporating Christianity.
Yeah, I don't understand what like Case for Christ has to do with that, in the sense of, in addition to Case for Christ, like what does that have to do with psychology? I don't know.
Jay Poe says the dog thinks David Wood is Mike Wicker.
Did I walk in and attack every Christian on the planet?
Yeah. Johannes Factor Jim, hang on. What did I miss about IPs? You're not a cat human anymore. No, I am, but I'm a cat human for a even longer period now. That's that. Show the dog. I can't do that right now. He'll be all crazy if he comes here.
That dog would. That's a big dog. That would wreak havoc in here.
Yeah. If somebody appeared here, he would kill that person. So he's a monster. Velvet Jazz, the Jews was mentioned on and off in the Gospels, like you said, but it's like when we say the Chinese, when we mean the CCP, the leaders, not the people, are the problem. Yeah, the only Gospel, to my understanding, right, as far as it refers to those who oppose Jesus as the Jews on multiple occasions, is the Gospel of John, and in that case, it's quite obvious that it refers to that when it speaks in the context of them opposing Jesus and all that, it usually talks about it talks about the leaders of the people. It doesn't talk about them as a whole. It contrasts the people and their leaders. For example, the people, and the Jews. They're all Jews. The Jews. The funny thing is also my Orthodox Study Bible. The Orthodox Study Bible actually points that out. It says that the Gospel of John frequently uses Jews, but it refers to the leaders here, not to the people in general. And by the way, that's the Orthodox Study Bible. But the people are arseless. But the people
R slurs.
Anyway, anything else, David? Anything else? No? Okay. Muslim JP. Well, it depends. What do you mean by leather? What do you mean by strap? What do you mean by 8? All right, man. All right. Thanks everybody for watching. We've only been live for 1 hour and 45 minutes. What the heck?
It's the shortest live stream we've ever done.
The shortest live stream ever in the whole world. I don't think there's anything else to talk about though. So that's that. I guess we can call it a night here. We gotta go to service tomorrow early in the morning anyway, which David will attend, and he's very excited about that. He's been talking to me about it all day long. So, your favorite bits. Some denominations do pray to saints to intercede for them. We can pray directly to God, and Jesus intercedes for us, not souls in heaven. Okay, what's your point? What's your point here? Thank you. You can also ask people to pray for you. Why do you do that? Did you ever ask somebody to pray for you? If so, why do you do that? Just ask Jesus. It's your problem. All right. Thanks everybody for watching. As always, have a fantastic day. And as they say in Goatington, which roughly translates to the following words as spoken by our in-house interpreter.
Stay away from Islam.
Powerful.